everybody today? Hopefully you're not all melting like I am here. It is very warm in Portugal today. Not good. So let's get into our DAO call. Welcome to the 17th of August. We had 3 proposals that closed in the last week. So the SIG prop for tipping for Aavegotchi community apps wound up, and that was a successfully passed at 90.66%. So that has moved to core prop, and that is still active for another 9 days, slowly working its way to quorum and currently at 92% for the Agip 129 for tipping community apps. So fingers crossed that one passes through easily, just like the SIG prop. The next prop that closed was the SIG prop for the Unity Defensive Aave by Flame. So this one was unsuccessful and quorum didn't get met either. So Flame might be here with us. He might have a few words to say about his next steps, but he has been looking into resubmitting to a smaller scope, so reducing down his build and therefore reducing down the budgeting ask. So we might be able to hear from him later on. Otherwise, if anyone has any ideas as to or suggestions as to what he should scale down his idea to, or what would be a budgeting ask that you might be in favor of voting, jump into the forum and let him know, because he is working on his plans now. So the next prop that closed was the Agip 127, increasing XP award to 250 XP for successful core Agips. So congratulations to Phantasma and Dr. Wagme for getting this one over the line. It has successfully passed with 80.29% in favor, and we comfortably met quorum at 9.5 million. So those were our 3 core props, and hopefully with the increase in XP, we may soon see some more props for some of the housekeeping people have been talking about, though we might need to start a forum thread to see what is actually waiting for us in our little housekeeping pile. What do we have that has been unaddressed that might finally make it to Snapshot thanks to this proposal? So if anyone has any ideas, do let us know. And those are our closed proposals. So the next, we have already mentioned Agip 129 tipping for Aavegotchi community apps. So that is currently looking very good. It still has 9 days left to meet quorum, 92% in favor. All is looking well there. If you haven't voted, today is a great day to jump on Snapshot and vote. The next one we have is a SIG prop for a Forge competition pilot season 1. So Oliver Spoon and FIFU have a thread going for this, dating a while back. And they had lots of discussion about how to structure a competition or some sort of incentive for people to do some more smithing and using of the forge. So they have put together this proposal. Unfortunately, Oliver Spoon is traveling, so he won't be able to join us this week, but possibly next week he will be on the call. But they have a great proposal up and outline nicely all the eligibility criteria and rules and prizes for this new competition to hopefully get some more traction in the forge and to reward users who have been upgrading their smithing skill and their gotchis. So that one is currently sitting on 87% in favor. All is looking good. Quorum is at 6.3 million, and we still have plenty of time for this one. Snapshot ends on the 22nd of August, so you've still got 5 days left to make up your mind on that one. All right, next up we have the SIG prop for enabling shielded voting. This one only has a few hours left. And let me just have a look here. It's currently voting no. So there were some test snapshots held in the last week or so, and it appears as though when enabled, this will cover every proposal. This is not an optional feature if you're creating a proposal. So all props will be shielded, and you will only be able to see the quorum as it's voting. And even after the vote has finished and even passed, it doesn't appear as though you can see any comments. So I know a lot of people weren't too impressed with that, which is why I think we're getting a lot of no votes. But given that, if you haven't voted, now's a great time. You've only got a few hours to let us know one way or the other. Quorum's only at 8 million, so it's not over the line yet. But that is just one idea to upgrade our snapshot and our DAO voting mechanisms. So that is shielded voting proposal. All right. Next up, we have the Octav onboarding. So Octav are looking to track the Aavegotchi DAO treasury. And so they have had a thread going for a little while now. They've been very good answering questions and communicating. And things were looking pretty good, but then the elephant in the room jumped out, and we have Gotchi chain coming very soon. So that has actually thrown a bit of a spanner in the works at the moment, because we don't really know what that's going to change and what the costs or technical requirements will be to track the treasury on Gotchi chain and how that'll work. So the SIGPOP is currently live, and we are at 63% yes, 36% no, and quorum sitting at 8 million. We still have a few days left for this one. It's closing on the 20th of August. And if you have any questions, jump into the forum, because Atreus and Matthias B have been very good responding to any questions and feedback. So if there's any information you need to make up your mind as to whether this is a good idea to try now or something we should try once we know a bit more about Gotchi chain and things like that, up to you. Jump into the forum and see what you think there about tracking our treasury and keeping our DAO on track. And that is leading us to AdKip 128. So we have our replacement DAO director election. It still has a few more days left again till the 20th of August. And this is to replace Maury, who has stepped down as a DAO director signer from the multisig. Currently, we have Aavegotchi first, Dottie in first place with 53% of the vote, followed by Fifu, T-Bird, and Musashi 13. Quorum is sitting at 8.9 million, so a hair away. So if you haven't voted for your choice of DAO director, please jump on in there. You have a few days, and let us fill this position that has been in need of filling for a while now. So let's help out our other directors by getting one more signer in place. And if you need to have another look at the election applications, you can jump into, or you have a link on the snapshot, and you can find a link to the thread in the forum in Discord as well. So you can see who you're voting for and make up your mind. And that is it for the snapshot. So
Are we having Atreus up
I'm
here for to answer questions about
hoping
that?
so. That is the plan. So let's see if we can get him up there. There we go.
Welcome.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
We can.
All right, thanks for having me. My Wi-Fi has been dropping off all morning, so if I disappear, that is why. So
Okay, no
Not a
problem.
problem at all.
yeah, so I'm
So
Atrius. I'm business development for Octav. So I'm just here to answer any questions people have. There's been a lot of discussion going on. So we just wanted to come here and like open up the floor if anyone would like to learn anything more, if I can clarify any context for anybody.
Okay, yeah, we saw in the forums that the data has been tested and
The
it's
oh, sorry.
sorry. Cuz Light Piglet was testing some of the data and it came up like incorrect. Uh can you explain a little bit about how that could be corrected?
Yeah, of course. So the way Octave functions is a kind of a collective data intelligence software. So it's like people over time, they validate different transactions, and that goes back into the algorithm that will kind of use those learnings for everyone else in the future transactions. So with bringing on Aavegotchi, me and Maxi will have like kind of some more upfront work of like cleaning up and categorizing a lot of these transactions, but the software will kind of learn those changes. And since, a lot of the functions that are happening in the Aavegotchi treasury happen quite often, like their reoccurring fee transactions and things like that, like we will have to validate things like 4 or 5 different times or just hard code it into the algorithm. And then from then on, that all gets automated away. So there's kind of some upfront work to just clean everything up, make sure everything's accurate. But then down the line, that should be minimized over time more and more. And especially like the more Aavegotchi, the community of Aavegotchi uses it for their own services as well. If they add into that, that also helps out the treasury with cleaning that up. So right now, not everything is perfect, but like when we would onboard Aavegotchi, there'd be a pretty strong effort at the start to make sure we clean up everything and make it as accurate as possible, so that it just works easily and kind of automated for the rest of the year.
Okay, so if you were here for the first part of this call today, Coder Dan had introduced the Geist chain. I was wondering if you were listening and if you know possibly how you would be able to integrate that. We have a question from Transistor about how you might be able to integrate the new Geist chain.
Yeah, so I had dropped off a couple times, so there might be some details I missed, but I was here earlier and I, read through the Geist announcement and everything. So Um, the fact that it's a Arbitrum L3 settling on base, like those are things that do help us. Those are two chains we kind of already support. And so we've been thinking a lot about this and talking with Maxi and some things behind the scenes. We don't have like all the details of some of the things people have been wondering, cost and et cetera, because we still need, to see what Gotchi chain looks like and how it functions, like upon release, how much is on there. But uh, because it's EVM, it's on a L3. We should be able to integrate that pretty easily compared to uh, other app chains like Cosmos or something like that.
Okay, another question from Al. How does this platform differ from something like Dune? We would love to hear about product differentiation. Thoughts are that paid for curated tables on Dune are slick because anyone can access the data. Bonus for Dune being able to process anything from block to transaction level data. So do you know anything about Dune and how could you answer whether it's different?
Yeah. So they do like function different in some different ways. When I had originally, I started talking to Maxi like June 6th, so a couple months ago, and I brought up the Dune, and it had kind of been communicated. Not a lot of community used it or looked at it. That's at least kind of what I believed. So Octave can also kind of be used by the community. There will be like a link that anyone can go to at any time, and they can go through those transactions. Um, and I think it's a lot more readable on like specific transaction data to the average community user. I'd say like you can look up any specific transaction, look through it. It's a lot more easy to understand. Dune's really good at having, this bulk collective and making some nice graphs. And so I think they're both very usable. From what we can provide that would be kind of more net positive than Dune is, especially to Maxi, like with his treasury management, accounting, reporting, these types of things. He's able to export that data very easily into CSV and PDF formats. And then like I think it was Al who had asked about it, or there was a community member who was curious about how it could be used to like track marketing spend, track like get projections on that, see some of that spend there. So that data will kind of be used in a more useful format for some of these more accounting measures that Maxi Crouton specifically be doing. And then it's also just very visible for the community at large.
All right. So sounds like you'll be working closer with Maxi to get it sorted a little more, and for the your algorithm to understand more of our transactions and stuff.
Yeah. So I'll be working with Maxi. We have some private chats been going on. Big part of my job is just customer support, so I'll be there just working with him to make sure it works as best as possible. Like we want this to be successful for the community and like useful, so we can keep it around long term. Um, there's a couple like bigger things too. Like we'll train the algorithm to learn some of these basic transactions, but also something like Piglet had been curious about was like the NFT pricing. So the NFT pricing, we're pulling from a third party API standard, but of course Aavegotchi's got their own, bizarre marketplace. And so some of these like deeper integrations, like we can integrate that pricing features. Those are things that are not in the training algorithm that we would manually input, but that is kind of one thing that we can do a lot better than some of the competition is like we are small, like kind of smaller in the earlier stages of starting out. We want to work very closely with the people we're working with, make it really, really work for the people that, are part of our client base. So I'll be with Maxi very closely. He can ask me any questions. I'll be working with him. We really want to make this work and work very well for some of these earlier clients.
Awesome. Glad to hear it.
Yeah,
If
that sounds great.
Yep.
I just have, sorry, one question about Gotchi Chain, because there were some slightly eye-watering figures thrown around about how much it would cost to integrate Gotchi Chain, but obviously, though those were just figures based on other chains
Mhm.
integrations. So, what do you actually need to know? What needs to be finalized before you can give us a price or estimation on what it'll take and what it'll cost to integrate Gotchi Chain? Like what features or things need to be locked in before you can actually start working out what it will take and how long?
Yeah, of course. Those figures are kind of funny because that is not at all what we were trying to communicate.
Yeah.
Matt, our CEO, had like seen the vote go kind of sour, and he wasn't managing the deal closely. He's working more kind of on the tech stack side of things, and so I think he got a little worried. He came in and he was high octane, I would say, but we wouldn't be charging Gotchi 60 grand or anything probably remotely close to that. So I'd say I kind of break this down. We have kind of our business model is not specifically about adding custom chains. This is kind of just an add-on that happens every once in a while. So we have chains that a lot of our users use, and there's a lot of protocols on those chains that we can work with. So, like Base, Arbitrum, Optimism, the most widely used chains. Those ones we just add and we work with for free. And then we kind of have these more specific chains that not a lot of people use. We're integrating Starknet, about to do Scroll. So these are kind of smaller, and they come to us, or there's a grant proposal of, hey, it's not our number one priority to add this chain, but if they want it right away, so their users have a dashboard to use, then they'll pay upfront for those indexing fees, those dev fees, and everything like that. So those kind of higher price tags are from big grants for integrations that we're not really focused on, but we're trying to do it for them. And so Gotchi chain or Geist would kind of fall in the middle there of, hey, it actually is for a client, it is for a user, or like the community of users. This is not something like we're trying to charge out the nose for, because we would want to add it for our client, and we would love if we could get a lot of the community members to be using Octav personally as well. So it would, but it's also not quite as big as some of the Base and Arbitrum and chains like that. So we would keep the cost to absolute kind of minimum, just like recoup on indexing fees. And so some of this kind of depends. So we've been talking with Maxi about this. We said, is much of the treasury even going to be on Geist? How many protocols might be on Geist? And a lot of this data hasn't come out yet. But what Maxi kind of communicated to us is the majority of the treasury is going to be staying on where it's at, either Polygon or ETH mainnet base as well. So there's usually about 20 to 30 million in there, depending on prices. Like, that money will be staying where it's at. It will be all tracked. All the revenues from the current marketplaces would be tracked. So he said that mostly, at least as Geist is starting up, there will be very minimal amount of treasury on there. It'll just be some of the fees from the new marketplace. And so that would kind of be up to Aavegotchi community and DAO members. Is that even worth the spend initially if it's only tracking a small portion of revenues and we're not missing holes in the treasury? If it's, depending how small or large it is, Maxi could add that in manually to the CSV report. So that's something that can be looked at and discussed. But also we would keep it to a minimum. We've heard there's probably not going to be very many protocols to start, mostly just Aavegotchi. It sounded like Coder Dan was talking about some potential partnerships upcoming, so we'll see with that. But the cost would, by any of our competitors to do a chain integration, me and Light Piglet had talked about this, or it's a pretty typical 5-figure, and that's a large amount of spend. But we would be very kind of prone to work with Aavegotchi's, give the best deal we possibly can, just kind of recoup those initial indexing costs. And it shouldn't be that expensive because it's already kind of a base and Arbitrum aligned chain. So I know that doesn't give a hard number answer, and maybe, if anyone would like, they have further questions on that, I'm happy to answer, but I'm just trying to give the brief overview of what we've been thinking about, how it might work, and what that would look like.
So would you,
Awesome.
yeah,
Well, you
sorry.
go first.
So would you say there's a possibility that the talk about the costs should be postponed until we get until we get our integration with Geist and with our new Gotchi chain stuff?
Yeah, specific costs for sure. This is also why I was around last week. I listened to the call, but I didn't come up, was because I kind of was waiting for the new information about the release. I knew it was coming really close, and so I'm happy that that was able to come out before I was able to hop on the stage. In the talks with Maxi, we kind of asked him, like, is this prop worth going forward right now? Like, are these tools useful to you even if we don't have Geist immediately on? And he communicated to us it was, and that he thought it would be for the community as well. So we think that with the majority of the treasury staying where it's at and there's these small revenues upcoming, we still think Octav would be a valuable tool. It really is at least in my opinion, quite inexpensive for managing a $30 million treasury. And so we would still like to move forward with our current reporting and analytics that we've been proposing for, but the specific costs on the chain, yeah, we really just can't give a specific cost. It could shoot us in the foot with just how many transactions, how many protocols there might be. But we do just kind of want to give the statement of acting in good faith. We're going to keep it as minimum as possible. We'll see what's beneficial to the community and some further details like that.
Perfect. Well, I mean, it sounds to me like, as it stands now, your proposal will cover, as you said, the active wallets we have now.
Hmm.
And if these are not actually changing in any significant way with the future Gotchi chain and Geist integrations, and if Maxi Crouton can also manually add the small amounts that might be there manually into the reports, that to me kind of covers what we need as it is. And like you said, it's a nice size treasury, and this is not a hugely expensive monthly um, offer, shall we say. So, I mean, it is paid up front, but it looks like it will cover our needs. And if Maxi Crouton has said that it would be useful and that he does think the reporting is beneficial. So it sounds like maybe the cost of Gotchi chain might be a little bit of a distraction and maybe not as big of an issue as it might seem. So yeah, so we have a few days left for this one. We have a great prop up with all the details, examples, and images of what the reporting will look like. So if anyone has any further questions or anything, please do jump into the forum while there's still time. The guys at Octav have been great answering questions and following up, so you're in good hands there if you need any more information. But other than that, I think that's all the current questions I see for this proposal. Does anyone have anything else?
What's this by Crypto Green? Will there be a reimbursement percent? Is he talking about something related to Octave?
I'm not 100%.
I think he's asking
sure.
if the information doesn't get more accurate, would we be reimbursed?
Mm.
Mhm.
Um, I can't I don't think that that's in my specific place to say, but what I can say is that the information will get more accurate. Like I will be working on this. I mean, we're trying to act in good faith. We're not going to try to vampire or attack the treasury. If it becomes like insanely obvious to everyone and people are very dissatisfied with the product and they think that we have tried to pull one over, like we don't want the bad press of that. We're not going to try to just take the money and run or anything. The amount of revenue that we're getting from this, like 3,000, like I've been working on this for over 2 months. Like that doesn't even cover uh my salary or anything. So this really isn't about the money for us at this point, especially. So but I will be working with Maxi very closely to make sure the info does get accurate. People feel free to let us know as things go on if there's things we need to work on. Um, but the whole point of the system is the more that it gets used, the more accurate it gets. So if as long as Maxi is using it, which he's committed to, if this passes, he'll use it to the best of his ability, and I'll be working with him to get any updates or features we need. There's very I'd say sub-zero chance that it doesn't get more accurate over time. There's some smaller things like the pricing API. We'll have to figure out with the team how we can pull that from the bazaar. So those things might take a little bit more time, but the general transaction data should improve over the next coming months.
Awesome. And how fast can, like, I mean, if there's a transaction that's incorrect, that can be fixed pretty quickly once it's pointed out, can it?
Oh, of course. Yeah. So, I mean, I have access to go back into the system and kind of hard code rule sets. So, if something keeps appearing wrong, I can go in there and change it. If there's something labeled as spam that's not spam or something that needs to be labeled as spam, I can go in and change that. And then for just like general transactions, it takes about 5 validations, confirmed validations from different users to kind of alter we call it the brain algorithm and how it's thinking about that transaction. So, me the Aavegotchi has quite a lot of transactions. There's like no shortage of stuff for me and Maxi to validate. And then any community users, I think it's a great tool if you would like to use it. Our Octave .fi/individual is free for any individual user, so you can go in there and validate transactions on your own and kind of contribute to that. So for your own buys and such things, so that everyone will kind of grow over time with the algorithm and the accuracy.
Awesome. Well, that sounds great to me. Thanks for clearing all that up. And thank you for coming on and going through the DAO gauntlet with us. You guys have been great answering questions and taking feedback. So thank you very much for your continued efforts.
Of course. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate, the opportunity to kind of clear things up. We were surprised by the amount of discussion that went on. Usually Octave is kind of just a more boring accounting tool that a lot of the community doesn't engage with on a higher level. So although it's been kind of up and down discussions, that it's been a good opportunity for us, and we're happy that people have paid so much attention to it. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thing I found is that the more boring the proposal, the more activity it gets around here. We do things a bit differently at
Yeah.
Aavegotchi DAO.
That's a big reason we wanted to work with Aavegotchi, and I've put so much time into it versus kind of just a generalized DeFi platform. Is you guys have such an active user base, an active DAO base that is really invested in. So like kind of these transparency features we thought would be such a good fit for Aavegotchi because of how involved the average user is versus some bigger DeFi protocols. They kind of just they want their yield. They don't really care what happens behind the scenes. So we're really excited to work with you guys. We would love if everyone votes on the prop. We're at 8.5, I believe, out of 9. So we'd love to hit quorum.
Yeah, so
But
close. So yeah, we're at was it 64%? I'm just refreshing now. Let's see if anything's changed. And
yeah,
thinking.
pretty much 65-35.
Yeah,
But
so
yeah,
64.92 are in favor. Quorum is a hair away, 8.4 million. We do still have a few more days, so there you
yep.
have it.
So
We have loads of information have come from Octave. Their forum is active. Their questions, any questions submitted are being answered. So if you have any more information you need to make up your mind one way or the other, let them know. And otherwise, jump on Snapshot and get your votes in. And we will see how this one works out.
yep, I check the quorum often. So happy to answer any questions, and just another thank you to the team for having me up here. Appreciate it.
Not a problem. Thank you for coming. All right, so that was Octave. Do get your votes in on that one. And that was also the last of our snapshot discussions. So what I'm going to do, if he's still here, Brills didn't get a chance to speak in the hangout apparently. So if he's available now, I might let him jump up and let's see what he has to say.
I'm actually on the stage already, I think.
Wonderful.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, guys. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt the DAO hour. I was trying to talk during the hangout there, but Dan and Jesse were sharing a lot of alpha there, and yeah, I really didn't want to interrupt, and they kind of just handed it off to you guys, and we started getting right into the proposals. So yeah, I'm happy to come up, just have a quick little talk with the Gotchi gang here. I'm looking at the audience here. I think I know most of the people in there, but for anyone that doesn't know me, my name is Brills. I've been a guild leader in the ecosystem for a few years. And just this week, I started a new position as the community manager of Gotchi Battler. So Gotchi Battler is one of the awesome games we have in the ecosystem. I'm really excited to join the team and see where we can take that game. I think it has a lot of potential. So I'm just really hyped to be a part of it. But yeah, we did just over the last week, we've been kind of gathering feedback over the last rarity farming tournaments, kind of just seeing what the active battler players would like to see changed in the game. Because true to everything else in the ecosystem, we're kind of building it together, right? We want players to get the features they want in the game and help shape it as well. So appreciate everyone that's given some really good feedback over the last week. And we just made the socials live basically today. So I'm gonna post in the chat there our new Gotchi Battler socials. You guys should all. Oh, sorry, Goobs just posted in there. Awesome, thanks, Goobs. But yeah, we got our new Discord and our X account. So you guys should join our Discord, follow that X to stay in tune with all the updates coming to Gotchi Battler. So thanks for letting me up. I just wanted to quickly talk about that.
No problem at all. Thank you for sharing the new socials. Gotchi Battler. Here we go. And congratulations on your new role as well. You had some stiff competition.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, a lot of awesome people in this DAO, including yourselves, and I think there's a place for everyone. So happy I found my spot, and gonna try and do my best in the role. So thank you, appreciate that.
No problem at all. Alrighty. Well, so let's see what's next. We have a little update from Zygo about his grid gladiators. So let's see if we can get Zygo up here.
Welcome.
Here we go. Hello, sir. Can you hear us?
Hello, can you hear me?
We can.
Yep.
Great. Good morning, everybody. I'm a little stuffy this morning, but doing okay. Yeah, I'm really happy to announce that the Grid Gladiator MVP is complete, and I'm just gonna post a link here to that on itch.io in the chat. Yeah, so go check it out. I think it's just as kind of a reminder. Kind of the overall goal for this game is to kind of be more of a marketing or outreach towards gamers that aren't necessarily in crypto right now. So the idea is for it to release on Steam and mobile and kind of gently bring kind of regular gamers into the Aavegotchi ecosystem through kind of community stuff and through the gameplay. Excuse me. Within the next week or so, I'll be putting up another proposal about continuing work on the game. But yeah, go check it out. It's fun. I'm really happy how it's turned out. And I'm excited to keep working on it. So yeah, thanks.
Not a problem at all. Thank you for sharing. So there we have it. We have Grid Gladiator. Check it out and play in your browser. See what you guys think. All right, so our next mini update is that White Ranger's website for his Gotchi Chain Battleverse is live. So at battleverse.ai, you can get more information about his game features, current development and release, and the open source publication as well. So check it out. It's looking pretty slick. And that will just provide more information as he is developing his Battleverse. So that's always very cool to keep an eye on. Now, the only other thing I had was like Piglet with his treasury tracking and dashboards deeper dive. He's been looking into other options available to the DAO and what else is happening out there with June and other projects. So he is unfortunately somewhere that's too noisy to be able to jump on today. So we're going to have to postpone that one until hopefully next week, which leaves us with a little bit of a hole in our agenda. So is there anything else that's been happening in the forums or anything anyone else wants to let the DAO know is happening or any updates or anything going on?
I am not sure.
So it has felt a little bit quiet in the forums for the last week, but summer is in full swing, so it's, I suppose, to be expected. But we do still have plenty of props still going through Snapshot and lots of activity and ideas and discussions in the forums. I know Flame is also, again, with Light Pigment, working on some marketing discussions, and they're hitting up a few different companies to find out what they can offer, what advertising they can provide us should we go down that road for rarity farming or anything else in the Gotchi verse. So anyone that has any ideas on marketing or anything like that, jump on in and see what's happening and what we should be thinking about. Other than that, I don't really have anything more that's going on. We did still have a thread on DAO participation badges. So there are a few good ideas that came up in this thread for different things we could reward with a badge. My favorite being voting on fakes in the queue. So anyone that has any ideas on what we should be rewarding, what we can make a badge for to go on our player profiles, jump in that thread by Coder Dan and see what everyone else thinks. And we do have the community wearables coming very soon. So I have no news there, but I'm hoping in the next week or so, maybe we will get an update as to how close we are to seeing those wearables in action. So I think that kind of wraps things up for me. I'm not seeing anything happening in the chat room that's jumping on stage. So what do you think, guys? Are we at the end of the DAO call?
Yep, I believe that. Oh wait, we have someone who wants to come up. Let's see.
Mm.
Welcome, Jonah.
Hey everyone.
Hello.
Hi. Nice to meet Foreign Roxiano, and hello to the community. I wanted to say hello really quickly. I'm the founder of one of the teams that Lit Piglet was looking at for some of the exploration. So I'll be on next week when he's back to tell a little bit more. But if any folks want to look in the meantime, we're a team called On-Chain Den that can do a lot to help on the reporting side and help with Geist chain as well, support. So just wanted to give a quick intro and hello, since Lit Piglet couldn't say anything, but happy to answer questions, and I'll be here next week when they are able to share a bit more about the fact finding.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for saying hello. And we are definitely looking forward to hearing more about the research like Piglet has been doing. And I have a gate crasher arriving. The little one has arrived. Uh-oh. No worries. Well, thank you very much. So yeah, let's see. Trying to say she loves Den, so that's a good start there. But yeah, looking forward to next week to hearing more about treasuries, dashboards, and all things to do with that. So awesome. All right, I think this is us. Possibly not going to have story time, sorry, phase, but maybe some other day. And thank you everyone for joining us. We had a great crowd here today. And I will see you all another time. Thanks for coming, guys, and have a great weekend.
Yep, great weekend, everyone. Awesome call. Thank you, Foreign. It was awesome.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes, you're wet. All right, bye, guys.
Peace.